She tried to give him a treat, and he doesn't like those ones. Yeah.
All right. How are you doing today? Maverick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do today? He's already got. I sent you the videos. Did you get a chance to watch them?
So I woke up like right in time to come here. So.
Okay.
So no.
I forgot. I saw.
No,
I
okay.
meant to send them earlier. So
I opened them and I was like, yeah, I definitely don't have 17 minutes right now.
Is everything turned on
Yeah.
and ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I'll coach you through it. We'll actually go over here to this path because we're going to work on the healing exercise because we got grounding and the activity direction. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we have 3 levels. Okay, on when it comes to the dog, we have our connection level, which is the twitch. Okay, have you ever used e-collar at all?
Yeah. I had a trainer for callback in the dog park.
Okay, did he ever talk to you about connection and stuff? Or she? Okay. So I'm going to break this down for you. So we have connection, perception, and working level. Connection is the twitch. Okay, so Maverick could be looking at a dog, and this is happening, but does not care. Okay, so you have connection, but there's nothing going on here. Okay, perception would be you have that twitch, and then he starts to kind of look around, like, you know, feels it, not too bothered by it, but you notice something. Working level is when he, like, you feel it, when you see the twitch, and he goes, whoa, and you see a bigger reaction. Okay, that's the number we want to find. The reason why we want to find that number is it makes the training progress a lot faster. We can start addressing those like reactivity, the growling stuff right off the bat, because the working level is a concern to him. And nobody likes being uncomfortable, right? Everybody, when you're in an uncomfortable situation, you want to remove yourself from that situation. So what we're doing for Maverick is finding that number, so he thinks to himself, like, how do I stop this? Like, how do I get this to go away? And we use that to shape everything. Okay? Questions? Alrighty, so what's your number set at right now? 37. Let's go down to 15. And we're just going to look at Maverick, and when you hear me say tap, you're going to press that bumpy button. I think it's a bumpy one, right? So, oh, that actually might be a bit loose. Yeah, let's go ahead and tighten that up. There we go. And it's going to be the neck function. So the button. And just hit Maverick, and tap, 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 tap. Okay, so you see how there's no response there? So just went. Tap, 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 25. Tap, 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 30.
No.
Tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and grab the box and hit the pager function. That's the button on the top there. It should say pager or not.
No.
So you see where the front screen is?
Oh.
You see that top button?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and grab the collar here, and you're going to press that top button. Yep. Do you feel a vibrate?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, cool. So it's on. We're just testing that it's on, okay? You're at 30 now?
30, yeah.
Let's go ahead and go to 35. And tap. 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 Okay, 40. Tap. 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 Still up to 45. Tap. 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 53. Tap.
Okay.
Tap. Tap. 61.
Yes, like fur?
Yeah. Tap. 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 7. Tap. There we go. Right. Tap. 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 So you saw the twitch, right? So we just got connection. You see how he's not really phased by it now? Let's go to 78. Yep. 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 So this is what we would call perception level. Okay, so 70 got us connection, 70 is getting us perception, but we need a little bit more. So we're at what number now?
70.
Let's go to 85. Yep. Yep. 90. Yep. 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 Right, so you see he's still not that face, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. 97. We got 30 levels left. Yep. 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 105. Yep. 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 Yep, yep, yep. Yep. Hold on. He's okay with it, right?
Yeah.
Won't press it now. I'm gonna tighten this a little bit more. He's got really dense fur.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was just a smidgen too loose. Let's go back down. Let's go to 35.
He's like, Andy, help
And yep. 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 45. Yep. 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 Little something there. 55. Yep. Yep. So he's just starting to feel it now. Okay, 65. Yep. 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 75. Yep. 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 85. Yep. 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 He's 95. Welcome to training. Yep. 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 There we go. So see how that's much bigger in terms of a response than it was before? So we're going to use that number. It might get lower throughout the training. Okay. And if you'd like to set your bag down, you can here. So we're going to start with the leash walking stuff. Sure.
I accidentally parked too close. But there's like no parking.
There's pay for parking here on Lincoln.
Oh yeah, I found a spot. It's not that parking.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's right here on the diagonal. It's only like $2 an hour.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, so what we're gonna
I'll
do
go with you.
is we're gonna start with the leash walking exercise. This is gonna be the foundation for any reactivity stuff, okay? And it's gonna be the baseline for like when we get to the socialization aspect of things, you wanna have a good feel, okay? So you only did a recall with the previous trainer, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember what your number was with that trainer?
40.
40?
Yeah.
Not too bad.
He was a little bit smaller.
Sure. Okay. There's special probes that they make. They're like $12 for a set that are for thick-coated dogs. So I can, if you send me an email, because we're here all day, don't forget, but at the end of the day, it's just say, hey Jesse, what are those probes or whatever, and I'll send you the link that you can get so that you get better connection, so you're not having to be so high on the Okay? So what we're gonna do here is this exercise is super simple. Is most people when they try to teach the very high maintenance Maverick, is they tend to want to punish the pulling And when the dog jumps back, they'll say like heel, right? So they'll yank the dog, and the dog says, they go, no, heel. Right? The dog pulls, they'll yank them, they'll go, no, heel, right? It's the worst way to train. I don't like it. Okay. What we're gonna do here instead is you're gonna give Maverick slack to allow him to make mistakes. Okay. So I train on the left side traditionally. Okay. Is when you're walking with Maverick, he's probably going towards your head. Once he does this, you're gonna make an immediate right like this. Okay. He's gonna pass again. You're gonna make again another immediate right. Passes, immediate right. So he's gonna go back and forth. Okay. So you can look crazy for a bit. Now, when you're doing this, you're also going to use your remote. So Maverick's going to you're going to turn, tap, 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 right? Keep tapping until Maverick is here. Once Maverick lines up, we relax, we keep walking, but he's probably going to pass. Tap, 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 tap. There he is. Then we keep moving. Okay? We're going to just keep repeating that process of you making that 180 turn to the right and tapping until Maverick is to your side. Okay? I will coach you through this. But that's the basic exercise that you're going to be doing. Okay. Questions so far? So I'm going to have you hold your leash about by that other knot, right down. Yeah, that's gonna be your guide. And go ahead and just walk straight this way. And relax your arms. There you go. And when you hear me say turn, you're going to turn to your right. So go to turn right here. Yep. Forward. Tap. Relax. Turn to your right. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Turn to your right. Tap, tap, tap. Turn to your right. Tap, tap, tap. To your right. Tap, tap. You're at 95 still, right?
Yeah.
Take off the rope.
I think it like snuck up there.
Now we have connection. We lost it. Okay, we're at 80 now. Okay, so we're gonna relax your leash. Hold it by the other mat. There you go. Okay, and relax and forward. Relax. Turn. Tap. Tap. Turn. Tap. Tap. Keep going. Good. Turn. Tap. Good. A little bit more this way. There we go. Relax. Turn. Tap. Relax. Try again. Keep going. Keep going. Slow turn. Tap. Forward. Tap. More this way. Tap. Forward. Keep moving. Tap. There you go. Slow down. Speedy Gonzalez over here. Okay, so seem very edgy.
I know.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, so run up. Okay. Yeah. So slowly but surely. Okay, just turning slowly but surely, because he's feeding off your energy. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can see like a little bit of edginess, right? And he can see that as well. If I can see it, he can see it for sure. Okay. So your frame of reference is going to be that one particular knot. You got it? There you go. Cool. And I want you to think if you just keep your arms like this. Just like this, right? We don't want to be like.
I feel like this is how I walk every time I'm walking. I'm like.
Go ahead, do it with my hands. Down to it. Nice and relaxed. Okay. Because if you put any tension, he's going to feel the tension and it's going to promote pulling. And you're going against yourself. Okay. So you want to teach him to follow your lead, and who's already doing better. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Right? Once we got the connection, he was doing much better. It's just, I think we were getting worked out.
Yeah.
Okay? So, relax. To the right.
Okay, right?
Jump forward. Tap. Good. Slow turn. Good. Hold to your left. Tap. Hold to your left. Tap. Good job. And relax. Very good. Slow turn. Good turn. Nothing there. Good. Tap. Good. Straight. You got it. Hold your left calf. Good. Slow. There you go. Good pace right there. Slow turn. Good. Forward. Slow. And then, yeah, if you hold your back, I want you to keep your momentum. Going straight to the direction. Okay? If I say slow turn, nothing going wrong right now, okay? Forward. Slow turn, you got it, Forward, pull your left, there you go, and relax, good, keep forward, good. Pull your left calf, you got it, good, keep straight. Good, slow turn, good. Forward tap. You got it. And relax. Good. Hug a little bit inward. Good. Slow walk. Move forward. Good. Slow turn. Good turn. And slow to a stop here. There. Okay. Very good. Question so far? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So what do we?
Always over here, and then he starts going behind me a little bit, and then I pull.
Correct. Okay. So, do you see how this is working to get Maverick to pay attention to you?
Yeah.
How?
Because he was looking at me eventually.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So that's what he was. That was the response we got. But what were you doing to teach Maverick to pay attention to you? And?
Turning.
Yes. Okay. So earlier I said most people go like they'll punish this, right, the pulling, and the dogs here they'll say heel. The dogs don't connect those things, okay? So the exercise, the way it works is for Maverick, he goes the wrong way, right? This is happening, he doesn't like it, he turns around, and now you're going the opposite way. When he catches up, it stops. When he would pass you again, it starts happening again. And then you'd be going the other way. So he's thinking, every time this contraction happens, mom's going the opposite way. Maybe I should be paying attention to mom, right? And then he locked in, and now when you stop, he's turned, and he's like this, and he's paying attention. So this was the importance of finding that working number. If we had a lower number that he wasn't feeling, you'd still be going back and forth all over the place, right? That's why it's super important to find that working number first before you start anything, okay? Because it makes it very quick. Yes, right, because now it's 80, right?
Yeah.
So what I did earlier when I took the remote is I tapped and went up, and then finally I saw a big reaction from him. It was 127. Then I dipped it down to 107, and then it jumped again, then went down to 80, and then he felt it, but he wasn't so, what's that? That's what told me to have the appropriate number, okay? And when you get the probes, it'll make your life a lot easier, okay? On the collar itself.
Okay.
So there's two probes, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw them. You would remove those and replace them with the other ones. Okay, it's super simple. On some of the turns, I said slow turn, right? Do you know why? Yeah, because he was paying attention. He was walking with you, right? So there was no reason to just do this. Okay. Now, if Maverick, I want to say Loki because I trained another guy that just named Loki. Is if he's already over here, he's not paying attention. There's no need to slow down and turn. You just turn tap until he's here again, right? But if Maverick is paying attention, it would be unfair to do that. So we slow down to give him the opportunity to to match your pace. Okay, so then right here I had you do a slow turn, and then I said slow to stop, and then he stopped here. Right? Ideally, we want his right shoulder next to you, like this. This is okay for now, okay, because he's clearly still paying attention. But that's the visual for you to start kind of moving it out for. Is we're not wanting Maverick to land over here, we're wanting him to land here as much as possible. Okay, and it's that simple. It's literally just the back and forth stuff that you're doing right now. Okay, questions? We're gonna try again. Okay, so again, assume when Maverick is ahead of you, you're just gonna do the immediate right turn, tap tap 180, keep going, right? Your speed is good. Are you a fast walker? Okay.
And we all are.
You all are, okay. So, we'll see how that is, okay? Because for some dogs, the fast walking, it's really hard for the owner to, how'd you say, slow down to communicate with the dog, and I'll explain that more a bit later. So we'll see what your speed is at. As long as it's not overly fast, it's okay, but I might have you, at least when you're with Maverick, walk a little bit slower, just to help you with those stops and turns and stuff, okay? So go ahead and get situated. So instead of, just turn to your right. There you go, so it's back on your left. And relax. There you go. And forward. Go to slow turn. Good. Tap forward. Good. Hold your left, tap. Good. Slow turn. Good. Go ahead and speed up a little. Hold your left, tap. Good. Forward. Good. Now slow walk. Hold your left, tap. Good. Speed up again. Slow turn. Forward tap. Tap forward, tap forward, tap forward, tap forward, tap forward, tap, 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 tap. Keep going. You got it. Good. And relax. Good.
He uses his body weight against me a lot.
That's okay. He's going to stop it. Go ahead and slowly turn this way. Forward. So when he locks up, you just keep moving, keep tapping. Okay? Because the stalling is actually what empowers him to not move. Go ahead and slow turn. Good. Go ahead and pick up the pace. Slow turn. Forward. Good. And slow. And stop. Good, that's okay. Go ahead and pivot to your right so he's on your left again. Okay, forward. And then slow turn. And try stopping again. Okay, so you see how he keeps crossing over you, right? Do you know why that is? Because you keep turning to the right. Right? So he's assuming that you might do that. Okay, so it's a problem, but it's a good problem. Okay? So when we come to a stop, if Maverick does this, what you're gonna do now is when you move forward, is you're gonna move forward to the left leg, your right leg, to bump him out the way. Okay? Yeah, so you're like, boom, and then you just go through, okay? The next time you come to a stop, because on that last one, he kind of went all the way around, right? What I'm gonna have you do is if you see Maverick doing this, is automatically just boom, and start walking forward again, okay? With the intention of really kneeing him, okay? It's so that we fix this problem. It's not gonna make him hate you or anything like that, but he's learning if I cross over mom, she's gonna walk right through me and I wanna stay out the way, and you're gonna start seeing him line up more so over here. Make sense? Okay, go ahead and move forward. Good, slow turn. Forward, tap. Good. Keep straight, keep straight, keep straight, keep straight. You got it, good job. Alright, slowing to a stop. Right there, bump forward. Boom, walk. There you go, bump. There you go. And you're back on the sidewalk.
Race and last turn.
Okay. Slow turn. Okay. Get ready to come to a stop, right? Slow stop. That's okay. Forward. Give that slack. There you go. There you go. Slow to stop again. Turn. Tap. Good. Slow turn. Forward. Slow to a stop. Better. Forward. Slow. Slow to stop. Better. Okay, so you see how, ideally we want this right shoulder to be over here. Okay, so take one tiny step forward, like that. That's what it should look like, okay? So he didn't do any crossovers, which I was trying to make happen so that you could correct them. Okay, I know it's a lot to think about, huh?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's like you're training the person between right and left again.
Sure, yeah. And if you think this class is hard, wait till the next class. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated. So, but this is, I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible. Your main thing is always, if Maverick is ahead of me, I just always turn this way and tap on the remote to bring them to my side. Okay. We're making it the left side because if you were to switch between, it becomes confusing. Like, what side is the correct side? If you make it one, it's very clear to Maverick. This is where I want to go. Okay. Questions about any of this so far?
No, we did something similar in his canine thing with their called turning goes, but they just like yank them until they start going.
Yeah.
So I think
It's
he
the same.
listens more because he's getting shocked.
Correct. Right.
Because he would just like lay down.
Yes. So with the prong collar, one, this isn't the correct prong collar.
Okay.
Okay.
I have like 10 of them because so many people have told me it's the wrong one, so I just keep buying them.
You're all wrong. Okay?
Yeah.
You're all wrong. I'll tell you right now. Okay. You won't really. I don't really care right now, or
Okay.
even I don't really care. Period, because you have the collar.
Yeah.
But if you're doing prong collar training, this is the complete wrong.
Okay.
This is meant for like mastiffs and stuff. That size. That's a 3.3 millimeter. Okay. If anything, he'd be on the 3 millimeter, but with prong collar, like you said, it's a lot of yanking, right? So here, lightly pull up on your leash and tap. Grab a little bit higher. There you go, that's good. And up. Tap. Tap. And relax. Very good. So, up again. Tap. Tap. We're going to ignore that for now. Okay, I just want them to sit. Okay? So, the turn and goes, I call it the turnaround method, but it's the same thing. Is with the prong collar, that's like the old school way, is when the dog goes, they turn, like you said, they would pop them, right? But if you get a guy like him, he's got really dense fur, you can yank him as hard as you want, that fur buffs the hell out of that, okay? He doesn't really feel anything. If he starts to lay down and then you're yanking the dog, he don't want to go, okay? With e-collar, it's the only tool, in my opinion, that can make a dog make a decision to do something. So he started to put his body weight against you, right? And you were just angry, you were attached to him. He kept going and he was like, ugh, and he went without you having to be forceful, right? That's why it was important to find that working number. Everybody has a breaking point, right? It's just finding what's the breaking point. Because again, nobody likes discomfort. He's like, how do I turn this off? Every time I lay down, mom remotes me. I don't like the remote. Unless I put myself in a sitting position, mom's gonna remote me. I don't like the remote, right? So you're making him give up, okay? Which sounds bad, but when we're talking about obedience, we need him to give it up, okay? When we apply this to behavior, if he doesn't take what you say seriously, then when he's being growly and stuff, why should he take you seriously there? Does that make sense? So this is why this is the baseline for that stuff, because one, we're getting discipline in there. A lot of times discipline will fix those problems, because he's never been made to do something. Does that make sense? So then once he understands, like, wow, there's a greater power than me in existence, he starts to think a little bit differently, okay? Ideally, we don't even see that growliness and a lot of stuff that, because of the attacks or whatever. If that's the case, then we do see it, no big deal. we have to go about it in a different way, but this is always the foundation to teach him. This is how the e-collar turns on, and this is how it turns off. Otherwise, he has no idea what it is. Okay? Questions? All right, so we're gonna do a bit more. Now what we're gonna do is when you come to a stop, see how I had you lightly pull up and you tap? It's to get him to go into a sitting position, okay? So when you come to a stop now, if Maverick doesn't sit by himself, I'm gonna have you grab a little bit higher, like you did there, lightly pull up, and when you pull up, you wanna keep it static, okay? Don't wanna bob the leash up and down. Yeah, you're gonna hold it, tap. Once he sits, then you let it go, okay? Because when you're bobbing it, pressure is telling Maverick that he needs to, like, what to do, right? When you pull up, it's telling him you need to put your butt down. The remote is telling him put your butt down, right? When you would pull to your right and you pull to your left, you're saying not that way, go this way. But the remote made him go, don't want to be here, I should be over here. Makes sense? So that's why the leash is your guide. It's communicating to Maverick what he needs to do to turn off the remote. But the remote is ultimately what's making him do that behavior, like you pull up, yeah, and relax. Just like that, okay? When it comes to laying down, I know Maverick's not, how do you say, he's tired, he's hot, he wants to rest, whatever, right? And you can excuse it as a human, right? But you have to think bigger than that. You have to think that you told Maverick to sit down, and he decided, but I want to lay down, right? So if you're walking with him and a dog comes by, then he can decide, I'm going to let you bark, right? Or I'm going to growl, or I'm going to pee on this tree, or I'm going to lay down and not move, right? It becomes a lot of other things. So even though he's not doing anything wrong, he's just resting, it's against what you said. You have to be super black and white with that obedience. Otherwise, that gray area is going to work against you. Okay? So I'll have you go to pivot so he's on your left. You're going to give some slack here. Yep, grab by that knot. Perfect. And whenever you're ready, forward. Slow turn. Good. Forward. Slow down. Slow to stop. Up to the sit. I know what you're doing. Yeah, it's okay. Right. So right there, because he was gonna be like something. This is okay. Okay. This would not be okay. Okay. So that if he's here, boom. Right. That would be correct. If he's here, not too bad. Then up, tap. Okay. Again. Give slack. Forward tap. Tap. Good. Slow turn. Just gonna go all the way to. There you go. Good. Good. Go ahead and speed up. And slow. Slow to stop. Right. Yep. Good. Now right there you were correct on the first one. Because he started to come over, right?
Yeah.
So I saw you go like this. So it would have been boom. You would have just walked straight through. Okay. Now if I tell you something different, but it looks like you should do something else, opt for what you think is correct. Okay. Don't always listen to me. Okay. So, because I know you're trying to do two things. You're trying to teach the auto sits, but at the same time, we're trying to correct this problem here. Okay. So if you end up doing it and it's correct, I'll tell you good. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. Give slack. Good job. Slow turn. Good. Forward. And slow walk. Slow to stop. Right. You got it. That's okay for now. Okay? Again. Sorry. Slow turn. Tap forward, tap forward. Good, slow walk. Slow to stop. Right, let's do 2 more. Okay. Good. You ready to stop? Good. I'm going to try one more. Good turn. Good. You're ready to stop. Good. We're going to pause right there. Very good. Okay. So this stop is better than the last stop. Do you know why? What was I having you do on the other stops prior to the stop? Almost. So you'd slow turn, now take forward, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you stop naturally, right? So for the slow turns, you can actually just you can keep walking, right? That's not a big deal. But once I was getting you ready for that stop, for an actual stop to the sit, I was having you do something prior to it. Okay. Let equal forward. Yep. And tap. A little bit more pull. Tap. Then up. Tap. Good. Go to take a step back. There you go. And we're at what right now? 80?
80.
Let's go down to 65. Let's have you slow down. Right? I would say slow walk and then slow to stop, right? So on the last one, when I said get ready for a stop, you went, and you just stopped, okay? He caught it because right now we're training and it's easier because it's a lot of repetition, right? But on an actual walk, he'd most likely keep going because it's too abrupt, okay? You drive, right?
Yeah.
What do you do before you stop?
Slow down.
What do you do before you turn?
Turn to
And what else? If you're going fast, if you're gonna make a
slow down.
slow down,
Yeah.
right? So you slow down. So the same thing as driving as when you're walking with Maverick here is before you stop, before you turn, you want to slow down, okay? Forever, okay? So like the slowing down before a stop doesn't change when you're driving, right? Like you always have to slow to that stop because it lets other drivers know what's going on, right? You have your turn signal. And next class, when I said it's going to get more complicated, we're going to talk about turn signals for dogs, okay? But right now, the main thing I want you to remember is slowing down before stopping and slowing down before turning. If Maverick is paying attention and you slow down, what should Maverick do? Yes. If he's not paying attention, what is he going to do? And then what are you going to do? And?
Oh, like lift up or something? Can you repeat the question?
You slow down.
Okay.
He keeps going. So what do you do in
You
response?
turn on the right.
I quiz you this way because this way you retain it better, and it's not me just throwing out information, okay? So main things to always remember is slowing down before stopping, slowing down before turning. Let's say you're gonna come to a red light. Very common for people, because they're gonna stop because it's a red light, is they'll stop and the dog will keep going, and they'll just pull them back, right? But that doesn't help your training, right? You should stop with you, right? You did everything correctly, he's paying attention, he should be right there with you. So if that happens, even though it's a red light, you would still turn and tap, get Maverick back, and then you would turn again and it comes to the light and come to a stop, and he sits, okay, or you make him sit, okay. So right now what we're focusing on is teaching Maverick to pay attention to you now, right? Because before it was just all of this stuff here. Now with what we're doing, he's like, whoa, if I don't pay attention to mom, things happen and I don't like them. As long as I pay attention to mom, nothing happens, right? So we're shaping all these behaviors. We're not using any words right now. We're not saying heel. Okay, we'll say heel, but it will be to the next class. So it forces you to have to use that remote to make Maverick walk beside you, okay? People tend to use more words because they feel bad about the remoting. And I don't like saying shocking because it makes you think like you're electrocuting your dog. I'll usually say like nick or tapping, you know? Because I do feel like the impression of the tool makes a difference. Because if you feel like you're shocking your dog, it's kind of like, I don't want to do that. But if I just say correct or nick or tap, you're like, oh, whatever. Does that make sense? So, and also if anybody asks you, like, you don't want to tell them. Okay. So any questions about this stuff? Okay. So we're going to do another. I'm going to have you go back and forth. I'm going to have you put in more stops to practice those auto sits, okay? If you come to a stop and Maverick starts to sit by himself, you don't do anything. Just let it happen. Good boy. You would wait a moment, and then when you're ready, you start moving again, okay?
If he stops and sits by himself?
Yes. If you start to see him do it by himself, because there was one or two that I saw him already putting the butt down, that I just let it happen. I don't do anything, okay? So, because that's what you're trying to teach Maverick, is if you just sit down automatically, nothing happens. Okay, so then he starts doing that more, and then you're having to tap and do all this other stuff. Okay? Questions? Go for it. I keep thinking about getting like little chairs for people to sit on. Pull to your left, tap. Tap. You got it. Good job. You guys have very similar personalities. Is your other sister the same? A little different? Okay. His turn. Oh, okay. Was she the one that gave the consultation? Thought I recognized it. Good. We're at 65, right?
Yeah.
Let's try 50. Good. And go ahead and put in more stops.
Okay.
As you're walking. There you go. 3 more. Are you liking the new place? Oh, really? You're not going to do it. Good. One more. Right. Very good. Go ahead and praise him. Nice. Good. And we have a dog coming, just so you know. So here, we're going to try the same thing, but now instead of pulling up, I'm going to have you keep relaxed. You'll shorten your leash just in case, and we'll see if he does it by himself. Tap up. Tap. 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 And back to the side. There you go. Is instead of pulling up, we're going to go to just tapping to see if he'll do it with just the tapping. Okay. Now, right now, you would.
Just the tapping and not the pulling.
Yeah, we're going to see if he'll do it with the remote only. Okay. If he looks confused, you would then pull up. Okay. Now, right here in this instance, he got distracted. He gets up, right?
Yeah.
And you
My heart was beating so fast just now.
Why?
Because I always get so nervous when dogs come in.
Oh.
Because I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know. I'm sure they're fine.
Sure. Are you anticipating that they may do something?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that at the end, okay? Otherwise, you did one thing correct and one thing incorrect. Okay, what did you do correct?
Tapping?
And what else? You pulled up. Yeah,
So
to
you can say-
reposition him. Correct, that was correct. Because that's what he was doing. He made a mistake, he got up, and then you said, nope, don't do that, right? What did you do incorrect?
Have a mini panic attack.
That's not wrong, that's just, life, right?
I don't know. Like, did I look over or I pulled up too much?
You kept going like that, the bobbing, right? So you keep that up and keep the tapping. So when you pull up, if you're scared of something happening, when you do this, you're actually restricting movement. Okay, so he's not going to be able to do it. Okay, as soon as you ease that pressure, you want to do that when he gives you what you're wanting, which in that moment was a sitting position, right? So that's why it wasn't so instant, because you were saying sit and don't sit, like back and forth, right? So it's up and tapping until he does it, then you relax, and then everything's fine, okay? So we're gonna repeat 5 more times. All those were pretty good, but now we're not gonna pull first. You're gonna come to stop, start with the tap, do that a few times. If he doesn't respond, keep tapping, and then a light pull up, okay? Good. Can you imagine training people? Good. 3 more. Excellent. 2 more. Right, so right there, see how you got that far ahead? What would you want to do? Try 2 more. Right, better. Last one. Good. Go ahead and bring them back.
And I can manage to somehow, without even thinking about it, get the pocket knife.
And go ahead and bring Maverick about here. You're going to have him sit and come to stop. And what you're going to do is you're going to say break. And break means he's free, and if he wants to have some water, right, bud. There you go. All right, very good. Questions about any of that stuff? So let's talk about the mini panic attack. Okay. That's because of what's happened, correct?
Even when people have them on the leash, they can't pull them with their feet.
Sure.
So I run the other way because I'm like, well, you can't control your dog, so I'll just run. Yeah.
Okay. So, but you've not trying to remember correctly. So like with Maverick, let's say you weren't doing training, right? You're in your neighborhood and you see a dog approaching and you didn't run away, and they were doing that. Would you start growling and stuff, or?
Yeah, because I feel like you can tell that I'm getting nervous.
Sure. So.
Yeah. The dogs are just so big.
Sure. So, when you come across those instances, okay, my suggestion to you is that you don't run them. Okay. What you're going to do instead is you're going to step aside. Okay. So if we're walking and I see someone and their dog is, meandering, is it you guys have like sidewalk and grass, or what? Yeah. Okay. And then there's like a curb in the street, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let's say this is a sidewalk, right? And then we'll say like where this starts is the street, right? So I have like 4 feet here. Is I would step aside, and you want to face inwards towards the sidewalk. Maverick sits. You would shorten your leash, okay? And then you let them pass. Right now, if they look like some people are like, oh, you're like setting aside for my dog, right? As you can say, oh, we're training right now. We're not ready to socialize. Feel free to speak up, okay? Most people, like 99% of the time, will go, oh, okay, and they'll pull their dog away and keep walking, okay? So like just earlier, we had our very first client, within 5 minutes, 2 people came with their dog over to us like this. And I said, no, we're training right now. And they were like, oh, okay, and then she walked away, okay? So, and I'm very direct. If you want to be polite, that's fine. But in my years of training, have learned that people tend to ignore the polite approach. Please put your dog back, right? Where I'll go like, no, we're training, we're not ready to socialize. It's very direct, okay? And then they'll keep going, or they'll shorten. And you can even ask, like, do you mind shortening your leash too? If that helps make you feel a bit better. But typically, if you do that, they'll like, oh, they'll assume like, oh, okay, I need to give space. Okay, most of the time. You might come across a person that doesn't, here and there.
Or they'll yell at you and be like, he's friendly. And I'm like, okay.
Then you start barking at them. You're like, I'm not. Okay?
Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter. Okay? If maybe you have a neighbor and you know that's their approach, like if you tell them anything they're going to ignore you, then use your better judgment. You can cross the street, but I don't want you like running. If you see it about to happen, just cross the street. You can avoid it. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But part of this process is not going to just be Maverick. It's going to be a lot of you, right? So by forcing yourself into that situation, like you said, you start to get stressed out. You start to get anxious or nervous or whatever, right? Is when we start the socialization stuff, that's going to be even worse because now we're going to be actively socializing. So this starts to prep you for that, right? Because this is controlled. You know nothing's going to happen here, okay? That by the time we get to the dog-to-dog social stuff, you're not going to be so anxious because you've already kind of pushed through it a bit. Does that make sense? So there's a bigger reason behind it. If you didn't really care about that, then I wouldn't care about it. But since I know it's a goal, I have to get you to start working on that stuff right away. Okay? The human is almost always longer than the dog in terms of working with them. Okay? So, but now you have control, right? Let's say you step aside and Maverick were to start to growl or something. Okay? What do you think you would do? Yeah. Okay, you start applying consequence. So the e-collar serves 2 purposes. It serves teaching Maverick on what to do, which here was we're teaching him to walk on your side and sit when you stop, right? And then we can also teach him, what not to do. So like, don't growl. So if I step aside and maybe this dog that's coming is super yappy, right? He's super yappy, and then he's like, right? I don't like that dog. Of course, you address the owner. Oh, we're not ready to socialize. Can you please, pull your dog back? And then you tap Maverick. You wouldn't say anything. You would just tap him. Okay? The tap should shut him down. Where he might, when he growls, if he feels it, you might see him turn around. That's perfectly fine. I don't care what he does. I just don't want him to become more growly or more reactive. Okay? Let's say you tap him and he does start lunging or barking. Okay? You didn't make it worse. He was already thinking about doing it, and it merely unlocked the emotion. Okay? I keep tapping, and I'll pull straight up to get him to settle down. I don't think you're going to experience this, but in case you do, if you feel like crap, this is not getting better, just pull up and hold up, let it pass. Once it's done, try to settle him down, go back to your walking, and then like just remember what you did, and you can shoot me an email or you can tell me about it in class. Okay? I don't expect it here, but just so you know, I don't want you to think, holy crap, I made things worse, because that's usually what people do, right? Like, oh, I made the dog more aggressive. It's not that you did, it's that you don't have the number high enough to tell them cut it out. So you really just like annoy them as opposed to discipline them. Okay? Questions about any of this stuff? In terms of your homework, this is your homework. Okay? How many times do you walk Maverick a day?
Take him on one long walk in the morning and then one at 10.
Okay. How long are those walks?
So one in the morning is like an hour.
Okay.
And then one in the afternoon. It like switches. It's like either 30 minutes in the morning, depending on if it's too hot, or an hour in the afternoon, or an hour.
Okay, so you do an hour and a half of activity with them. Okay. If you could either do 45 and 45. If you do 3 half hours, dogs learn better in smaller chunks. Okay. Otherwise, you can do this for a solid hour, but you're not going to be turning so much, right? As long as Maverick is walking next to you, you can just keep going straight. Okay. You only turn when he does that pass. Be sure to find that working number prior to your walk to make your life easier. Okay. And the moment you start walking, all of this goes into effect. Right now I said bring Maverick over here, have him sit, and then I said say break. Right? Break means you're off the clock. You can pee, poop, roll on the ground, smoke a cigarette, whatever, I don't care. He's on his own time. And then once you're ready, start walking, tap tap, bring Maverick back, and now he's on the clock again. Okay? So I want you to think of obedience as putting Maverick into work, and then when you tell him break, you're talking him out of work. Okay? If you see dogs, you have your approach. If you see an off-leash dog, or if you see a situation where you're like, I don't think this is going to work out well, feel free to cross over or do what you have to do, turn the other way or whatever, and handle that situation, okay? But if you can, definitely, it's your opportunity or to your benefit, step aside, let them pass, get over that kind of stress, and then keep going, okay? Anything else? I think you'll be fine with this remote. I think once we get the contact points, things will be a lot better. Yeah, for sure. You can email me. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. If you see anything and you're not too sure about it, I always encourage my clients, because now it's just verbal instruction, is you can take a video of it and say like, hey, this is what's happening, this is what I did. You can send it to me and I can watch and review it and say like, oh, okay, like you can do this instead. Otherwise, you just come to class and then I'll explain it. Okay? Anything else?
Make another copy of this for Carbondale.
For Carbondale?
Yeah, well, at Carbondale, I take him for 3 walks.
Okay. Because you're going to leave August when?
August 10th.
10th? Okay, so we got like, what, 2.5 weeks? Yeah. So as I think if we can get 3 classes in before you go, you'll be set for Carbondale, right? And then you always have those Zoom sessions, right, that we can do over the internet and stuff. I'm more than happy to help you while you're over there if there's any questions and all that. And then if everything's going great, come back and then we can start just picking up where we left off. But one more, the other class is going to cover the second half of the deal. And the third class, because it was the socialization stuff, right? Would you be socializing them if you could in Carbondale?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we have just one dog friend that is his girlfriend. That her name's Mika, and they're like best friends. They never fight.
Okay. Has he known her since she was a little puppy?
They were both 6 months old when they met.
Sure. So a lot of times with dogs, if things like, like he had 3 or 4 dog charge attacks or off-leash dogs, is typically prior to the first instance, or any dogs that they met prior to 6 months are like safe in the trust circle. And any dogs after that are kind of like off the menu. So if you have friends with dogs, the exercise that will cover the third class will help you start socializing in Carbondale. For the third class, we would lead a dog, socialize them. What's up? What's up?
Sorry. She's like, is tea a bad option? And I'm like, I don't know.
No, we can use tea.
Yeah, I don't think I have another
Yeah, you want to do
dog
that?
friend.
Yeah. Have they ever met before?
They haven't when Matt was a puppy and they've gone on socially.
They've gone on walks together.
Yeah, but we haven't.
Not
yeah,
like-
we wanted them to be friends. Yeah, okay.
My dad was like, just let them off the leash, and I was like,
No.
but he's so little, because he was like way smaller.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So you bring tea. We can use her, and this way it'll help both of you out,
Yeah,
right?
I will. It's really fun. We wanted to get some good, but we'll see how it goes. And I have.
Yeah, and you also have the daycare stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. I didn't even.
You disappeared.
No, I know. I'm like, I gotta give her a wig, and then she's been acting out.
Oh yeah.
Chewed something
Chewed,
up.
like,
Yeah, she's never
chewed
done that
stuff she's
before.
never done. She's not allowed to do that.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, of the new house.
Just like a wooden stick. And
Oh, sure,
I
sure.
left her for longer than 6 hours.
It was like a little
I think.
bin that was like wood.
Yeah,
She chewed it. She's never chewed
little
anything.
weapon too.
Oh yeah. I think because you bought like 5 days or something, so you still have the 4 days of transportation left. Yeah. So whenever you want to shoot us, you can either message us on Instagram and say like, hey, can you come, for schedule tea for tomorrow, or whatever, because everybody has access to that. And then, or you can go through Maria, and she'll set it up as well.
I apologize. It's so funny. Some people are just email like, I should just call you.
Yeah, or you can call, yeah, for sure.
So I think I am going to get neutered, but he has an appointment on Monday just for the pre-lab, like some updates and his nails to get done.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to do it, but
Oh yeah, my parents are
they're really
opinionated and they're just kind of saying.
basically my parents and my brother like really don't want me to do it.
All right. Who pays for all the bills?
Exactly.
But they're like, he's such a good dog. Why are you doing this to him?
It'll make your life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Trust me. Like once you like female and he, just that testosterone kicks in and stuff. Like it'll make life easier. And like just because he's a good dog today, like things always change, right? Now you're being a bit more proactive. You're doing training and stuff like that. But people get kind of too tied up on that, Shit, like you had 4 instances of off-leash dogs going after him, and then he was completely friendly prior, right?
Yeah.
Life happens, and then things change. So the unfortunate reality, if you get him neutered, the only thing would be, I think he'll be fine because we're not going to do anything too extraneous. But they'll tell you like keep the activity low and all that stuff. But every puppy and dog that I know that's been spayed or neutered within the day are like back to normal, running around and shit. So, if you do it between classes and stuff, they technically need 10 days to recover. But since we're on a short time frame, we would just adjust the session, accordingly if needed, and he'll be fine.
It's a better recovery for the boys. It's faster because they don't have to cut the muscle or something.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, I had my Pit's female, she was spayed, and then my Chihuahua was male, and he was neutered. And they were like the exact, like they just came home and like a few minutes later, like 30 minutes later, they're like back to normal. So,
It'll be fine, yeah.
Okay, he might be a couple ounces lighter, that's about it. Okay. That was good to see you. If you guys need anything else, you let us know.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah.
what's up?
Well, they're like, because I had already decided that I wasn't going to do it. And they're like, you said you wouldn't. And I'm like, I know,
You're
but.
allowed to
can
change
change your
your
mind,
mind.
yeah.
I got married, I got divorced. They got married and they got divorced too. So I brought that up.
Their dog hair here. Do you want me to hold my best?
You guys got everything?
Yeah,
good to
I'll
see you.
definitely, yeah, I know I have to.
Yeah. If you let us know, you need to, you let us know.